The liberating truth about love, growth, and letting go. I am not responsible for others' creations. A deep reflection on freedom, love, and letting go. At some point in our journey, whether in love, friendship, or family, we arrive at a profound realization. We are not responsible for how others choose to live their lives. We can walk alongside them. We can offer love, support, and guidance. We can hold space for their struggles and celebrate their triumphs. But we cannot, and should not, carry their burdens as our own. Every person is the architect of their own experience, shaped by their choices, beliefs, and desires. Even when their path is marked by pain, confusion, or setbacks, it is not ours to control or repair. This doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we learn to love without taking ownership of their journey. See their strength, even when they can't. When someone we love is hurting, our instinct is often to rush in, to fix, to rescue, to ease their pain. But what if true support means trusting in their resilience? What if, instead of seeing them as broken, we saw them as whole, even in their struggle? Because they are whole. Their pain is temporary. Their confusion is not their destiny. This moment is just one page in a much larger story. Rather than dwelling on their hardships, we can choose to hold a brighter vision for them, one where they emerge stronger, wiser, and more aligned with their purpose. When you think of them, don't replay their struggles. Imagine them thriving. Picture them laughing, growing, stepping into their power. Envision the day when clarity finds them, when the weight lifts, when they rediscover their light. Your belief in them matters. Even from afar, the energy you hold, your thoughts, your hopes, can ripple into their life in ways you may never see but can deeply trust. Letting go is love in another form for those in relationships that no longer align. This truth is especially vital. Releasing someone emotionally doesn't mean you've stopped loving them. It means you love them enough to honor their autonomy, and your own. It's saying, I cherish what we shared. I respect your path, even if it diverges from mine. I want your happiness as much as I want my own, and that means releasing the need to control how you find it. You might even whisper to yourself, you are a remarkable soul, and I trust you're exactly where you need to be, even if we're no longer side by side. I let you go, not with resentment, but with hope. Not with regret, but with faith in your journey. And I make space for the love and growth that's meant for me, too. When we stop carrying responsibility for someone else's life, we free them, and ourselves, to grow in ways we couldn't before. When helping actually hurts, many of us are taught that love means constant sacrifice, that if we're not fixing, we're failing. But sometimes, our help becomes a weight. It slips into enabling, into control disguised as care, into a quiet message that says, you can't do this without me. But real love doesn't weaken. It empowers. True support sounds like, I believe in you, even when you doubt yourself. I see your pain, but I also see your strength. I trust that you'll find your way, not because I showed you, but because it's already within you. Freedom is the deepest form of compassion. The shift isn't cold or uncaring, it's courageous. It's not detachment, it's trust. And it's not selfish, it's the foundation of authentic, sustainable love. When we stop trying to control another's journey, we reclaim our own energy, peace, and emotional clarity. We love without exhaustion, without resentment, without strings attached. You can still care deeply. You can still send them light. You can still wish them every blessing. But you no longer confuse their path with yours. And from this place of grounded love, you become something far more powerful than a fixer, a lighthouse. Steady, bright, unshaken by the storms around you. Trusting that every soul finds its way home, in its own time, in its own way. A final reflection, I release what was never mine to carry. I trust the journey of those I love, even when it's unclear. I see their strength, even when they forget it. I hold a vision of joy for them, and for myself. In this surrender, we both find freedom. This is love, matured. This is growth, embodied. This is how we learn to care, without losing ourselves in the process. Listen for guidance or reach for good feelings? A path to inner alignment and emotional mastery. There is a quiet, powerful truth you may have sensed deep within. No matter what is happening around you, you always have the ability to shift within. You always have the power to choose a new emotional direction. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect or spiritually bypassing your struggles. It's about remembering that even in the midst of chaos or discomfort, you still have access to something steady, your own inner guidance, your emotional compass, your ability to choose thoughts that feel better, one gentle step at a time. The power of the pivot. You are not stuck. There's a word for this intentional shift of focus and feeling: pivoting. And the truth is, you can pivot under any circumstances. Yes, even when it feels heavy. Even when your emotions are stirred. Even when life seems to be pulling you in a dozen directions. Because a pivot is not a giant leap. It's a subtle redirection. A breath. A pause. A moment of awareness that says, wait, I don't have to go further into this spiral. I can look in a new direction. There's something softer, lighter, more hopeful I can lean toward. This doesn't require perfection. Just presence. And while you can pivot in the middle of a challenging moment, sometimes, the most effective pivots happen when you're not awake at all. Sleep. The great emotional reset. Sleep is one of your most powerful allies. Why? Because while you sleep, your thoughts slow down. Resistance subsides. Momentum from old patterns pauses. Your inner being, call it soul, higher self, or simply your deeper wisdom, becomes more accessible. Sleep is the space between effort and allowing. It's where the noise of the mind fades and the wisdom of your core self can rise. So when you reach for good feeling thoughts before you fall asleep, you create a soft emotional landing strip, an invitation for peace to settle in and recalibrate your inner world. You don't need to fix everything before bed. Just offer yourself relief. A little grace. A little hope. Thoughts like, I don't need all the answers tonight. I'm safe to rest now. Everything is working out for me in ways I don't have to understand right now. I release the weight of the day. Tomorrow is a new canvas. This gentle practice aligns your vibration with well-being, and that energy travels with you into sleep. Upon waking, the first moments matter most. When you wake up, your mind is still soft and receptive. You haven't yet picked up the baggage of yesterday's thoughts. Unless you choose to. So the first few minutes of your morning are gold, the perfect opportunity to pivot into a higher emotional state before the outside world even touches you. Even something as simple as, not grabbing your phone immediately. Laying in bed a little longer, appreciating the comfort. Looking out the window and breathing in the stillness. Saying quietly to yourself, today is a fresh start. These small acts carry big energy. They shape the tone of your entire day. And when done consistently, they begin to rewire your emotional baseline, creating a new default setting of ease, optimism, and receptivity. So, should you listen for guidance or reach for good feelings? Here's the beautiful truth: they're the same. Your emotions are your guidance system. That gentle pull toward relief? That sigh of peace when you choose kindness over self-judgment? That spark of lightness when you think a better feeling thought? That's guidance. It's subtle, but sacred. Too often, people wait for big signs. Grand moments of clarity. A voice from the sky. But your true guidance is often quiet. It whispers. It nudges. It simply says, this way feels better. Follow this path for now. Let go. Rest. Trust. Take a breath. Look again. There's more here than fear. So don't wait. Don't complicate it. Reach for good feelings. Not because you're ignoring what hurts, but because you're choosing to lead with love, with softness, with faith. The transformation is real, and it's fast. You don't need 40 days of silence or a retreat in the mountains to feel this shift. You just need a few intentional days of soothing yourself before bed, choosing your thoughts gently in the morning, listening more to how you feel than to what you fear, trusting that even small steps in the direction of joy matter. And you'll begin to notice less anxiety, more clarity, more inspired action, better interactions, unexpected blessings. Because when your inner world aligns, your outer world starts to mirror it. A closing reminder, you are the author of your vibration. No one else controls your point of focus. No one else writes the thoughts you repeat or chooses the energy you wake up in. You hold that power. And with it, you can create a life that feels like peace, like presence, like purpose. So tonight, as you lay your head down, ask yourself, what thought feels good to take with me into sleep? And tomorrow, when you rise, what feeling do I want to lead with today? That's the path. That's the pivot. And your life will respond with beauty, because it always does when you come home to your alignment.